David Harbour, a journalist from New Jersey, had a passion for delving into the mysteries of haunted and deserted structures. His television show, The Shadows, showcased his adventures as he explored these eerie places and shared his findings with his audience. One day, David came across a chilling tale about the infamous Hotel Mortem and, in particular, its notorious Room 1313. Intrigued by the spine-tingling stories surrounding the hotel, he couldn't resist the urge to investigate and uncover its dark secrets. Determined to bring the truth to light, David packed his bags and embarked on a journey to Canada, where the Hotel Mortem was located. He was eager to capture the essence of this haunted establishment and share his experiences with his viewers. As David arrived at the hotel, a sense of anticipation mixed with unease washed over him. The imposing building stood as a silent witness to the stories of the past. Its faded facade and broken windows whispered tales of mystery and despair. With his camera in hand and a steely resolve in his eyes, David stepped through the creaking doors of the Hotel Mortem. The atmosphere inside was suffused with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant sound of his own footsteps echoing down the dimly lit corridors. As he made his way through the labyrinthine halls, David couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Shadows seemed to dance at the periphery of his vision, and a chill ran down his spine. Yet, fueled by his curiosity and the need to document the truth, he asked for the hotel manager gave David a worried glance but led him towards the elevator. David couldn't help but notice something peculiar. The elevator didn't have a number 13 on its panel. Instead, the numbers jumped from 12 to 14. Perplexed, he decided to inquire about this oddity. Curiosity getting the better of him, David turned to the manager and questioned why there was no 13th floor. The manager hesitated for a moment, clearly uncertain about divulging the information. Eventually, he relented and explained that the 13th floor was no longer in use. Despite this, due to the slow business, he is willing to give the room for rent. Finally, David reached room 1313, the epicenter of the hotel's macabre reputation. The manager entered the key in the lock, and the door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit chamber. Room 1313 appeared just like any other room in the hotel, devoid of any supernatural presence. The lighting was bright, casting a warm glow across the space. The walls were painted in a soothing shade, creating a serene ambiance. A cozy bed with crisp, clean sheets stood against one wall, inviting tired guests to rest. On the opposite side, a small table held a lamp and a notepad, ready for any notes or thoughts. In the corner, a compact fridge stood, stocked with an assortment of chilled beverages. The room exuded an air of tranquility, completely free from any ghostly apparitions or eerie feelings. The manager, without stepping into the room, handed David the keys and left. After placing his belongings on the table, David took a leisurely walk around the room, carefully examining each and every detail. His attention was drawn to two paintings hanging on adjacent walls. In one painting, a man sat on a chair, his face filled with terror as he stared out of the door. The depiction sent shivers down David's spine. The second painting showed the same man sitting on the chair, but this time with a rope tightly wrapped around his neck, evoking a sense of dread. These eerie artworks added an unsettling atmosphere to the otherwise ordinary room. David retrieved his recorder and book, eager to document his journey thus far. With his pen in hand, he meticulously recorded all the details in his book, capturing every experience and observation. He even sketched a map of the room, carefully marking the windows and doors, ensuring he knew all possible exits. Sitting in silence, he found a comfortable spot and delved into his book, engrossed in its pages. The room remained quiet, allowing David to immerse himself in the story while surrounded by the stillness of his surroundings. While engrossed in his book, the room's bell suddenly chimed, interrupting David's reading. Curiosity piqued, He approached the door and peered through the peephole. A waitress stood on the other side, announcing herself as housekeeping. Opening the door, David couldn't help but notice something peculiar about her appearance. Her hair draped over her face, obscuring her features, as she handed him a tray containing his dinner. As she turned to leave, David's gaze fell upon her feet, which appeared to be facing the wrong way. Astonished by this eerie sight, he swiftly closed the door and proceeded to enjoy his meal, his mind still unsettled by the encounter. After finishing his dinner, David decided to take a refreshing shower and prepare for bed. The bathroom in the room was small but functional, equipped with a bathtub and a wash basin. The mirror above the basin doubled as a cupboard, providing a space to store tablets and medicines. David kept his anxiety and sleeping pills within this cabinet. While enjoying his bath, he suddenly felt a subtle movement in the room, causing him to anxiously scan his surroundings. However, he knew that no one was supposed to enter the 13th floor, leaving him puzzled about the source of the disturbance. Hastily finishing his bath, he returned to the room but found no one there. Feeling unsettled, David immediately called the front desk to inquire about the footsteps, only to be informed that no one was supposed to be on the 13th floor. To his surprise, the staff denied sending any dinner to his room, explaining that the hotel only served breakfast. Bewildered by these revelations, David requested them to retrieve the tray from his dinner, but the counter clarified that no dinner had been sent to his room in the first place. With a growing realization, David came to understand that the mysterious occurrences were likely the work of the room or the spirits haunting the 13th floor. Determined to document everything, he meticulously recorded each experience in his book before preparing to sleep. He was abruptly awakened from his sleep by the jarring sound of footsteps. Startled and disoriented, he quickly lit up his lamp to investigate the source of the noise. Despite his thorough search of the room, he couldn't find anyone present. Puzzled, he rose from his bed and meticulously scanned every corner of the room, trying to identify where the footsteps were coming from. Gradually, he realized that the sound seemed to be emanating from beneath the bed. Nervously, he crouched down and peered underneath, only to discover his fallen recorder. As he picked it up, he realized that the recording was capturing the footsteps from earlier in the day, likely when he was taking his shower. A wave of fear washed over David as he pulled the covers over himself, attempting to find solace in sleep. The following morning, David woke up early, feeling refreshed. He stretched his body in the room, relishing in the newfound energy. After a relaxing morning routine, he dressed in his suit and confidently stepped out of the room, heading towards the first floor. As he passed by the paintings in the room, something caught his attention. The figure in the painting that previously stared in horror towards the door now appeared to be looking directly at David, with a subtle smile on his face. It sent a slight shiver down David's spine, making him wonder if there was something more to these artworks. Arriving at the elevator, David pressed the button for the first floor and patiently waited. The elevator doors opened and he stepped inside, joining the other guests on their way down. Upon reaching the breakfast area, David helped himself to a plate of food and sat down to eat in solitude. However, he couldn't shake off a strange feeling. It seemed as though the other people in the room were casting curious glances in his direction, similar to the intense stare of the figure in the painting. Despite the bustling atmosphere, an eerie silence seemed to surround him, amplifying his sense of discomfort. David couldn't help but wonder why he was the focus of their attention, and if there was any connection to the mysterious occurrences in the room.